I'd like to thank the Gen Z digital creator, Jules LeBron, for my internet bit of the summer, that very mindful, very demure meme. Yes, it is a satire on how women, especially trans women, are insisted to perform femininity to make their existence more palatable for others, but I immediately connected with the silly goose of her bit, and it reminded me of my moment of intense nausea that turned into my own unbelievable act of self-control. A very modest, although perhaps not so cutesy, removal of the contents of my stomach in public transportation. I'm a national brand ambassador for a whiskey distillery here in Texas. What that mostly means is that I am constantly traveling outside the state to build a network of customers and partners abroad. Yes, most would call this a dream job. I used to be one of those people, but these days I worry that dreaming about your profession is likely a sign of anxiety. Traveling for work is part of the dream job package, but after 2.5 years of being almost constantly on the road, I am tired, weary, and my digestive system is the most sensitive it has ever been. I've come to accept that at this stage in my life, I might just need to embrace a smattering of tummy troubles, especially when I'm not in the comfort and diet of my home. Earlier this year, I had the privilege to travel to Baltimore, and I loaded up my bags with swag to give bartenders and sales reps. I travel with an abnormally large piece of luggage so that I can be brand Santa wherever I go. It's the only bag that can fit all of the sample bottles, glassware, hats, shirts, postcards, and stickers that I have to bring with me when I'm going into a market. The swag bag is a little heavy to maneuver and even more difficult when I'm wearing a backpack and handling a carry-on roller bag as well. But I've never been upset with myself for overpacking up until perhaps this point. Initially, I flew to DC because it was cheaper to take the train to Baltimore from there, even though I knew that meant more lugging of bags up and down stairs and public transportation. Sometimes I choose harder, more physical routes to my destination since I can't seem to get a regular gym practice going. I now use the airport as my gym, pushing, pulling, rolling on a 65-pound bag, 40-pound carry-on, and 30-pound backpack as I walk the mile from terminal to baggage claim to public transport so I can get my Fitbit to give me praise at the end of the day. On this trip, I ended up having to eat at the airport because I forgot to buy my travel tacos, which are totally a thing you can pack in your backpack and are allowed through security. Do it. Be a travel diva. Don't let the airport dictate your diet. Unfortunately for me, I forgot to plan travel time for travel tacos, so I was rushing to get to my gate. Across from it was a sushi spot with seemingly speedy service. Right before they started boarding, I had the edamame and dumplings, and while the dumplings were a little cold in the middle and the iced tea was a little overly tannic, I figured I'd satisfied my nutritional requirements for the voyage. At no point during the flight did I believe anything was amiss with my corporeal constitution. I had some ice water and the chocolate quinoa snack. I caught up on emails. I slept. We landed. I exited the plane. I found my bags. At no point was I given a proper set of red flags to anticipate the next several hours of discomfort. It started while I was waiting for the train. I felt my stomach cramping up a little bit. Made me think I needed a restroom, but I had already gotten the bags up on the platform and I didn't want to miss my train. The train seemed to be the type with facilities on board, so I just focused on slowing my breathing down and start running Weird Al lyrics over and over in my mind, which is pretty much my cure for everything these days. The train arrived, but the conductor confused me as to whether or not it was the right train for my ticket. I ended up having to take my heavy bag into the train and out of the train and then back up into the train when he stepped back out to tell me he'd answered my question wrong. I was sweating when I finally sat down, but the physical activity explained that, right? The luggage compartment on board was jammed, so I had to sit down in the well with my bags so that I didn't leave them unattended. There was no way to secure them without me holding them against the side of the cabin, and they would comically roll around otherwise. I briefly wedged my luggage in the well so that it wouldn't move for a few minutes to try the handle on the bathroom door. It was locked, And the conductor confirmed on his second pass that I'd have to use one in another car, but I'd have to take my bags with me. The path to the other cars would likely involve me having to quickly get off and on at the next stop with bags in tow. I got a little lightheaded from considering the logistics and sat down and contemplated that I might, in fact, be getting too old for this. The stomach cramping had subsided a little bit anyway, which now I realize is a sign that I had just ignored the calm before the storm. About 25 minutes into the 45-minute ride, I felt the low thump in my gut that lets me know something is amiss. I don't know how other people know they are going to throw up before they do, but my body has always provided me with a bit of pressure, which increases in severity if I do not expel the contents of my stomach upon noticing its presence. Slowing my breath, I ran Amish Paradise again in my head, humming a little too, hoping the vibrations would calm my belly. Perhaps I had just moved too many objects around, and like somebody who goes too hard on leg day, I was feeling just a little bit queasy. I had a bottle of warm, sparkling water and figured that might help. Why, I thought that is still a mystery to me. I don't think nausea is good for decision-making. Shortly after, but knowing I still had at least 15 minutes left on this train, I figured I might need to have a plan to vomit that did not involve breaking down the door of the bathroom or abandoning my luggage, which the sign in the well clearly stated I absolutely not supposed to do, and apparently I am a person who will ignore signs for the sake of an imminent health crisis. Who will not ignore signs, I apologize. Fortunately, there was nobody on this side of the train, so whatever embarrassing moments that were about to happen would hopefully be for my memories only. At the time, I was wearing my brand Ambassador jean jacket. It's my favorite thing to wear when I'm traveling because it has the most pockets of anything I own, and I can even put a tasting glass in the inside pocket, which just makes me feel like a magician when I produce my own drinking vessel wherever I am. I took it out and looked at it. I knew it held only 6 ounces, but perhaps that's all that was in my stomach, because I knew I hadn't eaten much. Not really a wide mouth, but perhaps I could use my lips creatively to make this work. For the lack of red alerts that my night was going to include vomiting without alcohol consumption, I was glad to see my assessment that I could contain the retching to the 6-ounce tasting glass was correct. I moved quickly to search in my backpack for a plastic bag I usually keep in there for who knows what mess will befall me next. I knew it was likely I was going to throw up again, but also wanted to wrap this glass up so I no longer had to touch it because it was warm, and while I am great at disassociating my way out of this moment in time, I could not pretend that this glass wasn't full of warm vomit and commiserate smells. Just then, the train reached my stop. I knew I needed to get off quickly because the train was hustling towards its final destination, and the stops before had not been long at all. Folks from the end of the car started coming towards me with their bags. Not wanting to abandon a biohazard on board, I tucked the barf-brimmed glass back in the side pocket of my jacket, sadly deciding I just sacrificed this jacket for the rest of the trip, or at least until I could get it professionally cleaned. The increased physical activity of offloading my luggage so soon after discreet spewing meant I was setting myself up for another round of "What's up, Chuck?" I gripped the handles of my luggage to steady myself while desperately looking around for a bathroom at the station. Everything was closed after 9 p.m. I looked at my poor jacket. There was no saving it. I went outside to find a bush to hide behind and emptied the rest of my gut into my jacket, dishonoring the denim with dark brown quinoa flakes mixed with green bits of edamame. After dousing my hands and arms in hand sanitizer, I finally found my spare plastic bag and wrapped up the jacket with the barf glass still inside. I immediately called an Uber, relieved to remember my hotel was only a couple miles away. I would like to tell you that I was given a good 20 minutes before the need to spew arose again. However, I barely made it to my room. The lobby bathroom was closed, but fortunately the check-in process was swift. I spectacularly abandoned my suitcases in the hallway of my floor and ran. It was an intense round for sure. Being allowed the comfort of privacy and a personal vomit vessel seemed to trigger all systems to finish their release. I didn't take too long to recover, but when I retrieved my bags, I found that someone had carefully lined up against the wall. How mindful. Unfortunately, my gut wasn't done. It was one of the worst travel sicks that night, and I barely slept. I canceled all my appointments, noting that perhaps I would have packed less and not thrown myself into this mess if I just shortened the trip by one day in the first place. The universe loves it when I learn lessons the hard way, I think. I'm still not convinced it was food poisoning, although it had a similar impact. I had started to try to pack less when I can so that I'm not overstressing my body in public places not meant for rest or human comfort. I will never, ever, ever drink warm, sparkling water when I have a tummy concern. But no matter what, I'll be keeping a plastic bag in my backpack and a tasting glass in my side pocket. In this life, you'll never know when they come in handy.
Hey, that was pretty descriptive. I love the details in that story. Like you really feel like you're there. You just feel like you're in it. Damn, I should have warned y'all about that. Anyway, I mean, you had the program. You should have known. Very Demure Vomiting, which is really funny because all right, I'm young, right? I'm not about to age y'all. I swear, I promise. But demure, right? That's I am Gen Z, so it's I'm very demure and all that stuff, right? But I think I've finally hit that point where I'm starting to not understand certain internet slang. And I found myself saying that, and I was like, oh, shit. It's starting. It's starting. Have y'all heard of Sigma? Do you know what that is? Thank you. Because what the fuck does that? I don't know. Apparently, younger ones, I had to have, ironically, an older 30-year-old cis man tell me about what a Sigma is. But basically, it's you got alpha and then you got Sigma, where it's if you're alpha, it's I'm alpha male, I run the pack. But with Sigma, it's I don't even need a pack, which I'm that I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of fucking of alpha. But yeah, I'm gonna damn, hold on. Huh. There we go. Let's just pretend. Can you cut that out? For the video, let's just pretend I didn't just hit my fucking face. Yeah, not very demure of me. Anyway, this next story is called Me versus... Oh, damn, see, now I'm already... Baby girl, you're going to have to screw this on when you get over here. It's called Me versus the Frogs, written by Greg Schroeder. Please spell Schroeder. Okay, thank you. Greg Schroeder, and read by Courtney Sellers. I'm so terrified to